This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, good morning from Mountain West WCC Basketball Media Day here at Resorts World. Excited to be here and talk some Mountain West basketball for the next couple of days. We were over at our headquarters over at Circa this morning for our morning show out by the pool. Now we have made it over here to Resorts World, and as you can see, they've got it set up for the joint setup here. WCC, the Mountain West, doing this together. A very nice setup here in Resorts World. My first time here at Resorts World, and really enjoying the setup and looking forward to a lot of basketball coverage, both Boise State and the Mountain West as a whole, the next 2 days here. And kind enough to join us for a couple of minutes here is the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, Gloria Nevarez. Gloria, appreciate your time. How you doing?
Thanks for being here, BJ. It's great to see you again.
Tell us about how this came about with the WCC and the Mountain West and doing this together, because I know it's kind of a unique thing that really hasn't been done before, but I think for the sizes of the conferences, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, and because, we both have these media days and we have tournaments in the town, and we know it's tough for media to come back and forth. So if we can maximize what we're doing so that we can get the most people traveling here to get what they need from both of our leagues, I think it's a win-win.
Obviously been a ton of talk with the conferences and all that's going on, but what's kind of the things you're focusing on right now as commissioner of the conference?
Well, certainly focusing on the Mountain West and making us stronger. We're definitely monitoring the situation with membership. We have had several AD meetings and board meetings, so just a little bit business as usual, but also keeping an eye on the horizon.
Well, what is that like for you, just with all the reports and rumors, and some are true, some aren't, stuff. We saw the one about Gonzaga now talking to the Big 12 again. I mean, it just seems like every day something new is coming. And how do you kind of sort what's fact from fiction, and how much of your day-to-day operation is being taken up by all the realignment and all that stuff?
Well, certainly, 75, 80% has been focused on membership since I started on my day-to-day. And, our ADs and presidents have been really great about, hey, did you hear? Hey, this is what I'm hearing. Here's who I talked to. And so we're really, I think, united as a league. You saw a statement from us a couple weeks ago about the alignment we have. So I'm really feeling good about our position and communication.
I know you're probably not going to answer this, but I got to ask it. I mean, we're here, and we got WCC Media Day here. In my perfect world, I think Gonzaga would have made perfect sense for the Mountain West. You obviously have very strong ties there. Have there at least been any kind of conversations, or what can you say about what you guys are doing in terms of trying to strengthen your league? We have the whole, Pac-12 thing going on over there, but what about strengthening from the Mountain West side and trying to do what you guys can to strengthen this league?
Well, I think you allude to a bigger picture. The most recent conference alignment, it's been driven by football and media, where certainly in the Western region, we are really proud of our basketball heritage, especially last year, our Final Four run, and we have really great basketball out here. So yes, in short, I'm not going to answer your question.
What's in terms of a timetable, though? I mean, obviously, a lot of people are wanting, and we thought it would be done a week or two after the first reports came, and it's obvious this is obviously kind of dragged on here. So not to get into specifics of what's going to happen, but in terms of the timetable and just where things stand, it would seem like if a lot of this is going to happen for next football season, this needs something needs to happen here fairly quickly, I would assume.
And, these are the things. Control what you could control. And this one really is not within our control. This really is about, I think, the governance and legal system that is happening over there in the Pac-12 and sorting out some of that. So at worst, we're the same league we were a month ago, competing in 24. If best, maybe we're a little bit stronger.
How do you feel about that? And there's so many different scenarios out there. And okay, is it going to change names? Is it going to do this, do that? I mean, what from your perspective, I guess it sounds like regardless of what happens, you feel pretty good about the future of the Mountain West.
Absolutely. I think the statement you saw from our presidents indicated our kind of alignment and solidarity, but also I think it's opportunity for us. I think we've weathered the storm of maybe being raided or poached. So really just being thoughtful, making sure we have all the due diligence on what those opportunities are before we just jump right in and say, oh, that sounds great.
we see the Fresno State players having fun over here with the little 360 camera. You guys haven't really done I mentioned the WCC one, but I mean, you guys haven't done in-person media days, or the Mountain West hasn't in 4 or 5 years. What was you guys just did Zoom and stuff, but it does seem much nicer to see face-to-face the players and coaches and doing this. And I know it's a big expense for the conference, I'm sure, but what was the big reason of wanting to make sure you guys are back in person for these couple of days?
Everything you just said. I think it's really important. And certainly during COVID, we had to be responsible, both health and budget wise. And it felt time. We're really on the upswing in men's and women's basketball. And we just needed to bring back the attention, and the student athletes deserve this forum, but also I think for the product that is Mountain West basketball.
I hope you're okay if we take a few questions from fans here. If you do have a question for Gloria Nevarez, the Mountain West commissioner, throw it into the YouTube chat. We'll get to it. And I think a very important first question here is, Gloria, a Fremont Street fan or the Strip fan? What part of Vegas would you prefer to?
Okay, that's assuming that I even leave the hotel, which I don't do. I'm actually a fan of the Spa.
There you go. There you go. Sounds like my wife. Yeah, exactly. But you guys were over at Circa for football media days, and I know that was very well received. They're one of our sponsors at BNN, so we love it over there. This is a nice spot as well. I know they got the F1 race coming here next month. It's going to be Vegas is kind of crazy right now.
You can feel it out in the street and all the infrastructure they're building, and certainly it has become the epicenter of sports and hospitality. And we're so fortunate to actually have a school in this market that specializes in hospitality and really capitalizes on what they have here.
So what is the status of the Mountain West basketball tournament? It's guaranteed at Thomas and Mack through what, just this year?
Yes.
Okay. What is the thought process? We've heard, I know when the league first started, it was in Denver for a couple of years. I know San Diego has been brought about a little bit, but I mean, in some capacity, are you confident it will at least stay in Las Vegas, or what are your thoughts on the tournament coming up?
Well, I think when it came up to renegotiate, the commissioner of Mountain West, this position I have now, was open. So the team renewed for 1 year just to allow some, get the new leadership in and then figure out where to go. So we're in that process right now of analyzing all of our options. I really do think the tournament belongs in the city of Las Vegas, no doubt. So we just need a minute to get through the analysis of the present to get to the analysis of the future.
And what are you guys looking for in terms of venues and things? I know different venues, I believe, whether it's affiliated with a casino or something, I think there's different amounts of money the conference gets back, right? Depending maybe on where it is, or maybe that's an old thing that I've heard. But in terms of what's important to you guys, because you do a really good job, or the conference has in the past, in terms of not making Thomas and Mack Center look like one of the team's home arenas, but it is, that is still something that on a small scale, some coaches or players gripe about, that it is in the home arena of another team, but you wouldn't know that by going in there. You guys redo all that stuff, and it's nice. But what I know with the Pac-12 kind of going away, maybe that's going to open up their venue, I guess. But I mean, when you guys are deciding where to do it, what are the factors? What are you looking for?
Honestly, my driving factor is maximizing the championship and student athlete experience. And surveying will tell you there are two things that really drive their experience. One, playing in front of a packed house, so butts in seats, and two, the student athlete gift. So we're looking at ways to maximize all of that. And certainly ticket sales, promotion is a big part of that. UNLV has been a wonderful home. Thomas and Mack is so great and contiguous with the practice floors and all the accessibility there. So all things are on the table right now.
What's you obviously, you worked with football prior, before you went to the WCC, and you've had some stuff there, but just getting a chance to be back now also and working again with football, and whether it's bowl tie-ins or all the stuff going on there, what's it been like for you to get back to working with football coaches and focusing on what's ahead from the football side?
Well, from a conference perspective, all things are great when you're doing really well. And so to have some teams that, poking their head up in the top 25 has been really exciting. I think it's a tremendous time of change and opportunity in the CFP. So I'm really excited to be back in that room. And then, we just had several events where I've seen most of our bowl partners, at least one-on-one in person, and they're all very supportive and looking forward to the future with us.
That's something that I think is also something that maybe not obviously this year, but at some point I think the bowl lineup gets some criticism for the Mountain West. I mean, a couple of them are in Mountain West cities. And there's the number one spot's a great one. The LA Bowl, you guys created that. It was great. But I think the drop off to number two, some would see as fairly significant. You lose that championship game and you go from playing in the Rams stadium to, what some would concede a much lower tier bowl in Boise, Idaho, or Albuquerque, New Mexico, in December. And nothing against the great bowls. But what is there any, in terms of trying to get a little more prominent second bowl, what are your thoughts, I guess? Is that any discussion? Are you happy with the lineup you have, or what's the future of the bowl lineup look like?
We are always looking to improve and strengthen our bowl lineup. We're having those conversations now. Certainly the environment has a little bit of uncertainty given the membership changes recently, and we are trying to best position the Mountain West in that for sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on what that expanded playoff is going to look like and some of the logistics behind that. And those logistics are still being worked on. So there's some dominoes that need to happen, but our deputy Brett Gilliland is on the front line of all that and has been for decades, frankly.
We saw your colleague Mike Oresco come out and at first, say something, and then you realize, well, wait, we're going to get two teams in the playoff for a year. Why would I? And then he changed his stance a little bit. What has that been like getting to on the football level? You mentioned kind of being involved in the CFP now, but being on at that table now and dealing with all that and what the playoff's going to look like and having a vote on all that. How exciting has it been kind of being thrust into that?
Well, I think it's important. It's important for the Mountain West to have a voice at that table, which we do. And it's a time of great change. So one, you got to get the CFP folks are working on getting this next year's championship, not this year's game alone, then next year's championship and the logistics of all that, waiting for the membership to settle out to make key decisions like 6-6 or 5-7, and then eventually landing a media contract and determine what our revenue distribution is. So all of those things are happening right now. And so there isn't a lot to report, but to say that we meet weekly.
Yeah. So what is your, I would assume your stance is the more chances, the better for the non-Power 5 leagues, so to speak. But, like I said, Mike Oresco says, hey, 6+6 means the first year of the playoff, 2 non-group of 5s would get in, and that's the way it's set up. I would assume that's your stance too, or?
I'm still keeping an open mind on what that means, putting on my Mountain West hat. Absolutely. We still always have to have some point of entry, some opportunity to bring relevance to our conference, league play, and championship. Whether that's 6-6, 5-7, I still need to sit in the conversation and digest it all, and we haven't had that yet.
How soon does that need to? I saw some people saying, even during next season they could be deciding that. That seems a little far-fetched. But when does, theoretically, whether it be just from being in that room or just as a football fan or in general, when would something like that need to be decided here?
I think soon. I have that sense of urgency that everyone feels. But again, as I described, there's some little dominoes behind the scene that has to happen. So I think we'll get some answers in the next couple months, especially because I believe the membership question might, at least I've read publicly, that they expect to settle that out in the next, like a week ago, they said 30 days. Has
that taken longer than you thought maybe to figure out what's going to happen with the Oregon State, Washington State situation? Or did you kind of early on know that when lawyers involved and money involved in all this, it was going to be, because like I said, I think when all those other teams said they were going to the, Big 12 or whatever, I think people thought, I was checking Twitter 3 hours later thinking something's going to happen. And it has been a while. Was this kind of what you expected? It'd be a drawn out process here?
It's actually a little bit quicker than I thought, frankly, because I'd been thinking about it since UCLA and USC, we've been talking about it, and very soon after the Cal-Stanford move happened, they've been moving in a pretty big clip. But remember, that was what we were waiting for before.
Okay.
And so that took a couple weeks. So yeah, it's the wheels of justice turn slowly. Is that the?
Yeah, there you go. the overall, in looking at all sports in the Mountain West, how do you feel in terms of a national perspective, whether just where the Mountain West sits right now? You got to feel like you guys are regardless of what happened, not just in football, but just big picture and where the Mountain West stands nationally. It seems like you guys have some momentum right now.
I feel really good about where we are. We're solid. We're aligned. We're performing well on the field. We're winning the transfer portal in a lot of cases. And we're being competitive. And from a commissioner point of view, those are all things you can't control, right?
Yeah.
We don't hire coaches. We don't sell tickets. We don't recruit athletes. And so I feel really good about the league and our opportunities in the future, and looking forward to the rest of football season and postseason.
You excited to see your buddy Leon Rice here in the next couple hours or tomorrow?
Absolutely.
What everyone in Boise's watching? I know we got fans around the Mountain West, but I know you go back days with Leon for years from the when he was at Gonzaga, right?
Decades, yes.
He said he was always. I think he was the guy that they were always in your ear about stuff, right? Rules changes and doing things, and I think they were always trying to get things changed. So I'm sure he was always one to let you know. And I'm curious if he's already tried to politic. He has a formula for the basketball conference tournament that is a little different and maybe closer, not the same, but closer to what the WCC did. He believes that the top two teams should be protected a little more. Has he already tried to lobby that to you?
Well, I'll tell you what, at this level, when you're dealing with high performance, nationally renowned Division I coaches, if they're not pushing you, then something's the matter, because that's what they do to everyone. They push to make us better, from their athletes to their administrators. So yes, all of our coaches are very active. Our coaches meetings are very robust.
Yeah. What is that, and how does that process work, and what do you think are the chances, or could be the format could see any kind of change? And I guess that might have to do with how many teams are in the conference tournament, starting in 2024. But you've obviously been a part of a league that's done that. We've talked about this in the past, that there's, it's a little different in terms of some middle teams in the Mountain West that maybe are better than some of the middle teams in like the WCC. But has there been any talk or movement on changing the format? Or
a lot of talk, but to your point, got to put a pin on it to see if our membership changes at all. So we've been waiting a little bit, but to your point, you have to look at your bracketing, your league schedule, and your non-conference scheduling parameters every year, because as the composition of your league changes, so should the policies around, because our goal is to get the most teams into the NCAA tournament at the best possible seeding position.
Mm-hmm.
So if, all of our teams are getting really, really competitive, that would dictate thinking about those three pillars, non-conference, conference, and championship, differently than if, say, maybe your top really started to run away from your bottom.
So did you start January 1st technically?
Yes.
So you're 8-9 months in now? I mean,
Yes.
What's it been like as commissioner? Has anything surprised you moving up to the Mountain West here? Anything been, something you didn't expect, or easier or harder? Or what's it been like being the commissioner of the Mountain West?
No, well, the membership stuff, it seems like our everyday, no matter where you're at, right? But I am really, really pleasantly surprised with the strength of the league operations and how well this thing is built. We have an idea, we can execute it pretty quickly, and that's a real blessing, really, because if you have to end up building those systems, or it takes a long time to implement, then you kind of are behind. So, for example, we've already got a strategic plan. Blessed, we're just getting the graphics, using it up. We've got a brand firm halfway through our analysis and really well positioned to take the next step depending on what our future holds. So we've been able to move some big pieces quickly.
Before we let you go, tell us about Gloria Nevarez away from the microphone. We may have seen you at football media days with you and your husband enjoying a blackjack hand or two, but what a little later than we all probably should have been out. But what do you like to, when you're in the rare 20 minutes a day that you're not having to field a phone call or a text about something? What do you like to do for fun?
We are definitely outdoors people, so we love to hike and ski and explore, bike. That's why I love this footprint. We love the mountains. We love the outdoorsiness of it all.
And I assume you've relocated to Colorado Springs then, or?
No, I'm currently living in South Lake Tahoe area.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that's certainly an outdoor area for that's great. That's great. Well, any final thoughts, final words, Boise State fans, Mountain West fans? I mean, it seems like the conference is in a good place. It sounds like we're within a couple of weeks, hopefully, of something happening, but it sounds like you're pretty relaxed that whatever happens, it's going to be good for the league, and the league's going to continue to move forward.
Yeah, I feel we're in a really good position. I'm optimistic. I appreciate you coming here in person and covering all our young people. This is super fun. Yeah,
looking forward to it. Thanks again for your time. We really appreciate it. Gloria Nevarez, the Mountain West Commissioner. We got Gordy Presnell. We got Abby Muse, Maya Hansen from the Boise State women's basketball team coming up here shortly. So make sure they'll have a new link here in about 10 minutes to check that interview live. So thanks again to Gloria. Thanks to Javen, everybody at the Mountain West for having us down here, rolling along at Mountain West Women's Basketball Media Day. We'll be right back on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter with Gordy Presnell. Be back.